Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome back.
Nathan and I here to debate a interesting topic
Very
this morning.
important topic.
Very, very important topic. I will start this off by saying I saw a video by Steve Harvey not too long ago that was kind of circulating on LinkedIn. A lot of people were posting it on Instagram, and I'll actually put a link in the description to that video. But basically what Steve Harvey was saying was that rich people don't sleep. And he's like, they don't sleep 8 hours a night. You know, they're always hustling. And that idea kind of plays into this whole hustle culture that is very prominent in entrepreneurship. And
today's the perfect day because I haven't slept at all last night.
Yeah. Nathan hasn't slept at all. Hey, Nathan is. I think you're much more of a hustler than I am, right?
I mean, I'll guys, if you're listening to this podcast, I want to know your opinion. What do you think? Who goes harder, me or Gerard? Let us know. Text us right now.
I'm gonna say you go harder. I'm just gonna say you go harder, but we'll see. We'll see what they say. But being someone who spent a whole year working, in excess of 95 hours a week, and knowing the damage that did to my physical health, my mental health, and just my overall efficiency at working, I highly disagree with the narrative that you have to just hustle, and keep going and never stop. I feel like somehow the law of diminishing returns comes into play here. So it's not just about going all the time, but making sure that you're going about things efficiently. Because to me, if you're sitting there for 12 hours a day working straight through, but for maybe 4 or 5 of those hours you were sitting around just trying to convince yourself to keep going, that was inefficient. You might as well have just scheduled 5 hours to work and work straight through and get more done. Because I know now that I'm working less. I'm doing a normal 40 to 50 hours a week. I'm getting way more stuff done. I'm not procrastinating as much now that I've kind of taken my foot off of that gas pedal. But Nathan, I know you probably have some thoughts on that. Really curious to see what you got.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, give me a break. I like working, man. I like doing it.
I do too.
I like working, man. I'd just rather be working, man. I'd rather be working than sleeping. I'd rather be working than eating. I'd just rather be doing something that makes me feel productive. But I mean, at the end of the day, obviously going 120 hours a week is not sustainable. I know for me, I just do simple math, and that is like, hey, at 80 hours a week, I can get done in half a year what would take a normal person a year working 40. And I just think the math works out. And for me also, I mean, just for me personally, honestly, I need about 6 to 7 hours. That's how much sleep I need.
Right. Same here.
Sleep is very important. Let's not think that sleep's not important, but at the same time, it depends on where you are in life. And if you really want it, and if you really, really, really want to get somewhere right now, and you really, really want to, make a sacrifice right now, I just believe you got to be willing to maybe sacrifice something, man. Sacrifice an extra hour, sacrifice an extra 2 hours. Maybe sacrifice an extra night, maybe just like, hey, tonight sleep's not in the equation. And you don't know how the timing's going to work out. You don't know what's going to come up. You never know exactly. Right. And so like for me, dude, I'm just willing to give up an extra couple hours. And obviously I do think you're right in the fact that, at a certain level, for at least for me, past 100, past 95, there gets to be a point where it just isn't, kind of quite feasible anymore, and you find that you're not being as efficient as you could be, or you're not being as effective as you could be with the time that you have. But still, man, I'm still gonna say, if you can put in that 80, 90 hours consistently, man, you're gonna be so far ahead, just because the math works out better. And maybe Gerard thinks he does more, he works smarter. But I mean, what if you work both hard and smart?
It's definitely possible. Like my whole thing is, I think that people should listen to their body and listen to their brain and go as much. If you're getting to a point where you're so frustrated and you're getting agitated and you're looking at the screen and you're just like, and you feel that tension building up inside of you, it's probably time to stop and take a little bit of a break. One thing that I know, I mean, I'm a little bit ADHD, so I know that I can't focus for more than about 90 minutes at a time. So I'll work for 90 minutes straight, and then I'll go and take a 30-minute break, and I can do that. I can keep doing that almost indefinitely, right? So,
and the truth is there are ways to hack your body and hack your mind in order to get you to go farther. So, like, for example,
absolutely.
Like, I know for myself that in the morning is my best time. The morning is my best time when it comes to being productive. And I try to optimize for that. Because I know once I get, maybe 12 to 13 to 14 hours in, I'm not as sharp as I was when I had a full night's sleep. That's just the truth.
Right.
And I know that. And so I try to structure things so that I put the things that need more decision-making energy, more brain power in the beginning of the day. That way, at the end of the day, maybe I'm going to do something like culling, or maybe I'm going to do something like other activities that might not need as much of my like core attention.
Right.
That way I can still be being productive, but at the same time, I'm not doing the same tasks that I was doing before.
Right. Right.
So, that makes a difference. Drinking water consistently makes a difference. Getting up, going outside, doing, 20, 30, 40 push-ups, that makes a difference. I'm telling you right now, if it's in the afternoon and you're feeling tired and you just want to keep going, like, jump up, do some jumping jacks, run around, do some push-ups, get your heart racing, get your heart beating faster, get your blood flowing. It's good for your brain, it's good for your body, and it really helps you get going farther.
100%.
This to me, this is a marathon.
Me,
this is a marathon, and there's a certain point where you feel like, when people are running a marathon, they, have that runner's high, but then they also have a wall that they hit, right?
Exactly.
And it's about getting through that wall. It's about like coming up to that wall and then pushing through it, and doing that every single day. I just believe in that.
Yeah, 100%. When you talk about like running the marathon, something that I did when I was working those incredibly long hours is I made sure the only way I was able to get through is make sure that I was keeping up with my health regimen. So I was making sure I was getting into the gym just about every single day. I was making sure that I was getting good nutrition. Something that I was doing back then, I still do now, just not as much. I was juicing every single morning. So I was drinking like beet, carrot juice. I was drinking kale smoothies. Like I was really, laying on with the, super duper health habits just to keep my body in optimal condition so that I could keep doing what I was doing.
I'm telling you right now, that there is super, super important. The things that you put in your body, I'm thinking about it right now. Like, why did I have the energy to stay up late last night? Why was I able to work straight through? And to be honest with you, now that I think about it, it's because of what I ate yesterday.
Right.
It really is.
Right.
It's because of what I ate yesterday.
You're not putting crap in your system.
I had zero crap in my system.
Right.
No processed foods, no high starchy foods. It was like all raw, all fruits, all vegetables, grains, organic stuff, and water, right? And I'm telling you this right now, if you're depending on caffeine to like give you energy, man, you're screwed. I do not think that is a sustainable way to operate. That is not a sustainable way to operate. Listen, guys, I can put in 18 hours a day every single day with not a single ounce of caffeine. And I know if I went down the path of caffeine, that would not be good for me in the long run, right? That would not be good because I would be stealing energy from my future to put it in my now, right now. And I just know for a fact that while it might get me up a little bit, it's not gonna be good for me in the long run. And so to me, it's like, okay, how, like, if I'm gonna have energy, right now we're looking at 7:30 in the morning. I really haven't gotten more than 20 minutes of sleep. I literally, I mean, this morning it was like maybe 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I slept while my laptop was upgrading, okay, while the software update was going on. And then that was maybe 20 minutes. And, dude, I have energy. I have energy right now because I'm drinking water. I have energy right now. But that energy right now, I mean, yes, part of it is because of the hype of me doing this podcast with Gerard. But it definitely is not because I am taking some sort of substance that is going to give me more energy. And the truth of the matter is, I will need to sleep today. You know, I will need to get a good 4, 5, 6 solid hours of sleep. So it's not like I'm some magical person that doesn't need sleep. I'm just saying is that pay attention to where your energy comes from. Pay attention to you know, where your mind is at, because your mind will dictate where your energy is at. And when you're doing something that you're excited about, like when I was on the phone with my assistant Jerson this morning, I was freaking jacked up excited. All right, I didn't need anything to like get me up. That was my up right there. And so like figuring out where you get your energy from is so important, because whoever has the highest amount of energy over the long run will be able to go the farthest. And I think just that really matters.
Something I just want to throw in there, talking about the caffeine. I was never a caffeine person. Never had a drop of caffeine until I was like, 24 years old. And the reason was because I just started to fall behind when I was going real hard, and I just had a hard time getting a start in the morning. And so I had a pre-workout that I was taking. I wasn't even taking it before I went to the gym. I just take it in the morning. And I started out with going from no caffeine at all to drinking 135 milligrams of caffeine in maybe 6 ounces of water, which I think is the equivalent of 2 or 3 espresso shots in one take, which is kind of a lot, right? But I felt so pumped up and I felt good. But after 2 to 3 months of doing that, I noticed I was like, oh, I kind of need more now. So now I need 2 scoops versus 1 scoop, and it just keeps going. And, now that I've kind of cut way back, I mean, I hardly ever do caffeine anymore. I'm looking at when I'm on caffeine, I can get a lot of work done, but the quality of my work is not as good as when I'm not on caffeine. I just have a clearer mind when, I'm not drinking any caffeine at all. So, finding those ways of accomplishing your work without the aid of an artificial stimulant is much more efficient. You're going to do much better work, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, but I feel like you're going to do much better without stimulants.
I believe that, man. You got to cut out the stimulants. Yeah. Because then you're just fooling yourself. You're lying to your own brain and body.
Exactly.
And you do not want to lie to your own brain and body, because that's never a sustainable path moving forward. And honestly, I love the game enough that I want to be able to keep doing it, for years and years.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to do something to my body now that will make it so that I'm somehow unable to work the way I work, 5 years from now, because I, freaking, burned my tires up, so to speak.
Right.
That's not something I'm interested in doing. So yeah, I believe it needs to be sustainable. Yes, there needs to be sleep, but sometimes there's times where you got to sacrifice. And taking an hour less of sleep, 2 hours less of sleep, that's what you got to do. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. You got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and to me, if we were to sum up this whole, I guess 5-minute discussion on hustle versus working efficiently, I think I would say, number one, if you're gonna hustle, make sure that you're supporting that hustle, right? Make sure you're making the investments in your health so that you can hustle like that, right? So that you're not depleting your body. Number two, know how much you can actually do. You need to be really, I hate using the phrase self-aware, but you need to be very self-aware as to what you can do and what you can't do. Listen to your body. Know when you're going too hard. Know when it's too much, right? Know when to slow down a little bit. And then number three, don't feel guilty about not being able to work as much as the next guy. I mean, you always see, the post on social media, 14 hours, I'm still here, I'm still going. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily getting ahead. It could be that he's just still sitting there on his laptop emailing back and forth. That doesn't mean he's actually making progress. You know what I mean? So I think
that's very true.
I think people really need to just have really good perspective on this and understand that, you know, rich people do get sleep, because sleep is so very vital. I know now that I'm not getting only like 3 or 4 hours of sleep every night, I feel much better and I feel good. I'm not snapping at people all the time. My attitude is better.
100% true.
And when your attitude's better, you're gonna make more money. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, when your attitude's better, everything is better.
That's right. That's right.
And I'll say with this, like, if you are depending on another thing to alter your mood, it doesn't matter what that thing is. It could be music, it could be caffeine, it could be alcohol, it could be literally anything, right? But if you're depending on another thing outside of your own dome, right, to alter your mood, man, get rid of that thing. That thing is holding you back. It is 100% holding you back. I don't care what the stimulant is. It's holding you back because you're not playing in a place of truth with your own self.
Right.
And spend the extra money to eat healthy. Spend the extra money to buy good food.
Go to the
gym. At the end of the day, you know, you're gonna be what you put inside your body. And,
exactly.
And you know, you don't want to put crap inside your body.
Yep. All right, that's 5 minute debate for today.
That's it for today.
That's
16 minutes later.
16 minutes? Is it really?
16 minutes, man.
Holy crap, where did the time go? Okay. All right, we know we got to cut these down.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope this brought you some value today.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see ya.
All right, see ya.